Hey everyone, welcome back to Senegalese Twisted. Today I'm back again with another review for Maîtresse d'un homme marié, and today I'm going to talk about episode 28. Racky is making herself ready to go to work, and Mustafa is still not really sure whether she is bluffing or not. So he's asking her, so you are really going to work? And she is like, yes, it's my first day and I need you to support me. Because what I'm doing is not for me only, it's for us. She wishes him a good day and leaves. And he is left in shock. Then we switch to Mommy and Jalika, and Jalika is giving Mommy a lot of presents for her newborn girl. And then they get to talking, and Mommy tells Jalika that she really was done with the pregnancy and she wanted the girl to come out. And Jalika tells her that she understands, and eventually Mommy asks how Jalika's baby is doing, and Jalika doesn't understand because she's like, what baby? And Mommy is like, Tairu? Jalika tells her that, you know what, he's not my baby, but he's good. And she's just telling Mommy that she is a new person and that Mommy should not think that because she has been spending some time with 2.0 that she is going to start having feelings for him, or that she's going to forgive him all of a sudden. But she just makes it clear to Mommy that she knows that he needs her support and she is there to give it to him. Next we see that Racky really went to work, but before she actually gets to working, she needs to have a talk with the person in charge, which is Birame. And Birame is like, oh, so you really want to go back to work? And she tells him that she is sick and tired of sitting at home, and she also says that her mom is there to take care of Bebe Khalifa. And then Birame is like, okay, that's good to hear. I really like independent women and I actually really need you. And then he starts to talk about how he needs Racky to work together with Mansoura and to make sure that the project that he's working on, Birame City, which is the next big thing, goes well. Racky teases him and is like, well, I did not come here to take over all your tasks. And of course Birame cannot let Racky go and is like, so how is Clyde doing, like Bonnie and Clyde? And he's like teasing her, saying that he is sure that Mustafa is working hard on his next album called Thug Life. Then we switch to Layla, who is in the bathroom, but while she's in the bathroom her phone pings a text, and her husband, Mr. Procureur, actually gets her phone, but before he can do something with it, she's already there grabbing her phone out of his hands and telling him that, you know what, mobile phones are, you know, people's privacy, it's private. And he's like, oh yeah, sure, but where are you going? Because she's making herself ready, and she's telling him that she has a meeting with a client. And he's like, oh, I'm sure you told me about this, but I must be getting old. But he does look at her like he is suspecting something. Next we're back again with Racky, and Racky is talking with Mansoura because Mansoura is kind of, you know, welcoming her, asking about how the baby is doing, how Mustafa is doing, but also talking to her about how she knows what Racky has been going through these past months. And it seems more as if Mansoura is trying to keep Racky as her friend rather than coming from like a genuine place of support. When that is done, Mansoura actually ups and wants to leave. However, Racky asks her about all the documentation about the Birame City project. Mansoura is kind of hesitant because she's like, well, you have just gotten back and I don't want you to be tired or ask Birame for a lot, so I will just give you a briefing. But Racky insists because she wants to see everything and give her general opinion on the project. And then Mansoura is like, well, I'll see what I can do. And we move to Layla meeting her client, who is Cher, and Cher is actually really sick and tired of her and asks her like, what do you want this time? And Layla tells him that, you know what, before you ask me what I want, just greet me like a normal person. And eventually Cher gives in and tells her that this is the last time, just like the other few last times. However, we also find out that Mr. Procureur is actually parked in front of the house and has a good view of what his wife is doing. So what he does is he calls Lala to tell her what he just found out. Then we see that Racky actually goes home and she finds Mustafa sitting there in the hallway on the stairs. And she's like, Mustafa, what are you doing here? What if people see you? Like, what would they think? And Mustafa is like, well, don't worry about me. I should be asking about your day. Like, how was work? How was it to be back? Etc. But Racky does not want to answer these questions now. So he's like, well, I do want to know about this now. He also tells her that now he is stuck at home with the baby. So he wants some answers. But Racky tells him that nobody forced you to stay at home. You can do your thing. We can bring our child to the creche, or we can actually have my mom babysit. But eventually Mustafa keeps on telling Racky that she is selfish, that he has been through a lot because of her, and that now her going back to work is actually a selfish act of her. Then we move back to the procureur, but this time Lala is with him in the car. And he is saying to her that the woman inside is my wife. Lala is like, well, Cher is a grown-ass man. He can do whatever the F he wants because we are not married. He does not owe me anything. And the procureur thinks that Lala lets Cher off way too easily and that both of them don't deserve this. But Lala doesn't want to hear it and she tells him to bring her home. Then we are again back with Mustafa, and this time he's with his friend Lai, and his friend is like asking him how he is really doing, especially at home. And Mustafa falls silent, and eventually he starts to talk about what is bothering him. He starts to tell his friend that he thinks that what Racky is doing is selfish because she's only doing whatever she wants, and that now he is stuck at home with the baby. However, Lai is telling him that normally he doesn't give, you know, marriage advice to people. However, he changes Mustafa's perspective because he's like, oh, so the only thing she asked is for you to take care of your child, and I don't see anything wrong with that. And in another scene you actually see the same conversation actually continuing, but this time Mustafa is telling his friend Lai that, you know what, maybe I am stubborn. Maybe it is not a bad idea to ask Mère So to babysit Bebe Khalifa, and maybe I should ask Racky for forgiveness and apologize to her. Then we see how Layla is coming back home and the procureur is asking her how the meeting with the client was, and she's like, oh, the meeting was fine. And then the procureur is actually really done and tired of her because he screams at her, do you think I'm crazy? I saw you, I followed you. Do you think that the wife of the procureur can just go out there and sleep with other men? Layla is kind of pleading because she's like, you know what, no, we are closer than that, don't do this to me. And eventually she tells him that she does not feel happy because she feels like she's stuck in a marriage, she doesn't love him, and she also thinks that he feels the same about her. But of course the procureur is hurt and he feels like, am I not good enough for you? Is there something missing in your life? And that's that. And eventually he does tell her that tomorrow this time you need to pack your stuff and be gone. Then we see that Sheikh is talking to Noura, and Noura is asking him about when he will be back, and he tells her in 2 weeks. But then Lala comes in, and Lala is mad at Sheikh. She tells Noura to go to her room, and then she is going to talk to Sheikh. And this is the big confrontation, because of course Sheikh does not know that Lala knows that he slept with Layla. Lala asks him 2 questions. Why are you a liar, and why do you like whores? And eventually she asks him, like, why would you sleep with a married woman? And he's like, where did you hear that? No, let's just talk about it. And Lala's like, you know what, Sheikh, all I want you to know is that you did not deserve the second chance I gave you, so leave. Sheikh is telling Page that everything he touches turns into something very ugly, and he wants advice from Page, but Page is just telling him that, you know what, everything is in the hands of God, but whenever you make a mistake, you need to take a lesson from it. So don't be repeating your mistakes, but eventually you have to know that you are also human, so you will be making mistakes. Hamidou is talking with Racky, and Racky is just explaining her problems. And Hamidou is like, shall I talk to him for you? And she's like, no, he will kill me. And somewhere Hamidou actually grabs her hands and it's like, Linda. And then he says, Racky, I think that you deserve to be with someone else. And he just means himself. And at that moment, Mustafa comes in and all hell breaks loose. Mustafa's literally shouting that he will kill Hamidou. That was it for episode 28. I want to thank everyone for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If I have missed any scenes, you will be able to find them written in the comment section. See you in my next video.